Hey guys, Kevin here. You're, far and away your favorite commodity analyst out there, right? Um, no, just kidding. But wanted to give you a quick update today. We've got um, a few things to talk about. We've got the Minneapolis delivery system starts up Thursday, as do all the contracts in December. But the Minneapolis is the one to watch. Need to talk about South America for a second, as well as just the macro thing we've been following. So we'll get started. But at least the fog cleared. This is a big deal because you get stuck in that fog pattern in the Columbia Basin. It just sits here, and the cold air sits here, and you have a high temperature of 30 and a low of 28, and that's your pattern. The sun never comes out. It doesn't rain. It's horrible. It's a worthless pattern. So the sun cleared off today, made me want to get outside. So here we are. I'm not going to have time to write anything today, but I should have time Thursday or Friday. So anyway, Minneapolis wheat, record long commercial position, record short hedge fund position going into delivery. We've still got about 3,000 or 4,000 contracts left in that December. These are not hedge fund positions. These are hopefully they're commercial buyers wanting the product. The last 2 days have seen long positions exiting that market, so they probably roll into March. I think there were a lot of people that were hoping to see some fireworks prior to delivery, which usually doesn't happen, so they're rolling out to March. The December contract goes on the board Thursday, and so what we're going to see is if the commercial trader wants those bushels, and if they want those bushels, they will simply hold for delivery, hold those positions, and force delivery. And the short people, if we got a lot of commercials that are short, they can dump that wheat on the market. I don't think you're going to see much of that because a lot of those receipts have been canceled. That's important. We've got a couple things going on. We've got the North Plains basis that continues to show good strength. It shows the demand for the product. And then we have the Canadian exports, which are running at a 5-year high, and this is after a short crop. So that's pretty constructive. So I was hoping we could survive and get into that time frame and watch and see if we can get some fireworks going. I think it's going to be it has the potential to be a catalyst for the whole wheat complex. So I was disappointed with yesterday. Today's much better mood. Kansas City not only made a new low overnight, but it closed over yesterday's high, which technical terms is a key reversal. I don't like key reversals. They never seem to do much good, but to me it shows China's probably in here buying KC wheat, which they should be because it's some of the cheapest in the world, and it probably shouldn't be as short as that crop was. USDA has got a lot of traction on upping the acres and upping that crop size when I drove through it personally and I just didn't see it. So I think that market probably has a lot to gain. So especially with the hard red spring starting to come to life a little bit as well. So the other thing is South America. Everybody's talking about the soybean crop in South America. To me, it's more of a corn story. They're going to get a soybean crop one way or the other. The rains, it may not be great, but combined with Argentina, it may not be too bad. The bigger story is that Safrinha corn crop, which, they haven't even planted yet. They're going to be too late for that. A lot of the growers that I've heard from back in that Mato Grosso region are not going to plant corn at all. They say it's just too late. One of the fears I had was that they'd completely give up on their soy crop and just plant the corn early. Instead, they're replanting the soybeans. That makes me happy. Makes me feel like corn's going to have the edge out of this thing when it's all said and done. The problem is they don't really plant that crop till, February. So we've got 3 months before it really becomes a concern, and realistically 5 months before we get into the weather pattern of the Safrinha corn crop. But I think that acreage is going to be significantly lower, and they're going to have no subsoil moisture unless we get a complete reversal of the pattern. The typical monsoons that show up this time of year have not, and that's a big deal. They are getting some rains, but they're not the monsoonal type. They're the more of your stratiform fast moving fronts moving through. It's not what you want if you live down there and hoping for their monsoons to kick in. So lastly is the gold market. If you remember a month or so back, I wrote about the gold and the crude oil and the corn and the wheat, all these markets being capped at round numbers, which shows you kind of human. These are not computer traded funds that are teeing off on these markets. It's more of a human point saying we're not going to let these markets breathe above those marks, which is $6 wheat and let's see, we had $5 corn, and crude oil was $90 and gold was $2,000. Well, gold, I haven't seen the close yet today, but the last trade before I started this was about $2,040 an ounce. So good. It's going to have a good solid close above that 2,000 mark, and that's, to me, that's a breakout. So it's breaking out to the upside. You've got the dollar breaking down. You know, all of this should go well into the commodity sector. I guess I'm encouraged. Just because gold does that doesn't mean wheat's going to follow and oil's going to follow. Everything's going to take off. It just means that maybe whatever entity or entities have been selling on these things are going to have to rethink and change their position, and that's what I'm hoping for. So that's good. The last thing, is there anything else? Oh, on the fuel hedge thing, if you're hedged fuel, if you did my 10 cents a gallon hedge, we're going to watch that cash price closely. We're into this time of year. We're getting close to December now where we typically set the lows. And if we set the lows, if we see some lows on the basis coming up pretty quick, we'll want to buy the cash product soon. Probably, within the next 60 days, we're going to want to buy the cash product, get those locked up. We can either salvage the hedge, whatever the calls are worth, or we can hang on to them and see if we can make it back on the upside, get our 10 cents back or something. But pay attention to that. If you didn't hedge, then just watch for this low coming in. We've had a decent uptrend the last week or so in fuel markets, so I'm not ready to declare that the low's in, but it's got my attention. So that's about it for now. I'll send my report out later in the week, which should have the updated delivery stuff when we see that happening. My text messages, those are all based on the March contract now, so unless something notable happens, you won't see it on the text. And I've also had problems with that text system. It comes out of Europe. I don't know what their issue was. I've been sending it out 2 minutes after the close typically, and shoot, the other day it came out about 4 hours later, 5 hours later. I guess, I don't know, Europeans took a better Thanksgiving week than we did, I guess. I don't know. But, so, sorry about the issues with that. If it keeps happening, I'll reach out to them and try to get them to fix it. But that's all I got for now. Holler if you need something, and we'll talk to you soon.